Welcome ESL to Race 2. We are at Texas Motor Speedway. And last week at Daytona, it was Jackson Reed that stole the show, a rookie at that. And he made the best of his situation and took that trophy home as he comes into this race, as your points leader. Can he replicate what he did last week? Last week at Daytona, it was about survival. And tonight, it's all about control. Long green flag runs, they wear the tires down. Clean air means you can't fake speed here. The stopwatch will tell you the truth at this track. If you're looking for the driver that checks every Texas box, it is Jack Holloway. He's on the outside row to start this race. He did show speed at Daytona, faded a little. We'll see what he can do today, but he's starting on the outside row. He's very patient and smooth, and over the long run, his car actually could get better. It all depends on what this team did to set up this car for this track. It is a dangerous combination on a mile-and-a-half track where mistakes compound lap after lap. But you also have to keep a close eye on Chase Wilder. He is on the pole for this race, and he is looking to take the trophy home if he can. Winning the pole and winning the race is extremely difficult, but we'll see what he can do today. And also got to keep a close eye on Ryan Whitaker. He is pretty good at these style type of tracks. But as we get back to Wilder, Wilder brings immediate speed, the kind that can steal track position early, while Whitaker has the raw pace that shows up when a race settles into a rhythm. Those two control the race from very different angles. So I'm very curious of what they'll be able to do here today. And don't overlook Parker Sullivan or Natalie Brooks. These are drivers who don't panic when their tires go away. Texas rewards restraint, and when others start overdriving, there are ones who those are the ones that quietly move forward. So also keep an eye on those two. And, Texas is about, you got to earn the speed here at Texas. And by the end of the day, the contenders will have separated themselves from the rest. It's all about consistency at this track. Um, Speed does play a factor, but I have a feeling it's going to be consistency as your tires begin to wear. You're looking at about 30 laps or so before you get a pit stop. You're gonna have two pit stops at this race, and it's gonna be interesting. And pit, on the team side, I feel like the race leans heavily towards organizations with two competitive cars and clean pit execution. Those pit stops are going to be extremely important. We're going to see who takes gambles, who does not take gambles. If we stay green and we get, these green flag cycles, pit cycles, it's going to get very interesting. So we're going to see how everyone handles this track today. I feel like we're going to create some separation here on what drivers can really handle the mile and a half. Super speedway is a whole different animal, but we'll see today. So we're going to get to our national anthem, and then we're going to hit the track. Welcome back as we're going to get ready for some racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. Can Chase Wilder bring it home, bring the trophy home? It's not going to be easy, but can he do it? We got Jake Holloway in the outside, Miguel Alvarez in that row two, as well as Parker Sullivan. We talked about Parker Sullivan. Mitchell Granger in that third row at Wyatt Cross. And Paige Thornton and Dalen Prescott. Those are your top 10 as we get ready for the green flag. Green flag waves, and we are on the way here at Texas Motor Speedway. Jake Holloway in the outside, Chase Wilder in the inside. You have that 16 close by. That 16 had heartbreak at Daytona, so he is looking to redeem himself. Miguel Alvarez, as he takes a peek into the inside, and it looks like he's going to dive to the inside to take the lead. Jake Holloway is going to follow suit behind him, as everyone's pretty much still double file. Miguel Alvarez looks to put a block on the 29 and the 2. He's going to have to try to navigate back and forth here. Chase Wilder down to third already. Who's going to have this long run speed if we stay green here? Like I mentioned earlier, it's about 30 laps here on a green flag run. You got Jake Holloway there in second, Chase Wilder in third, Mitchell Granger there in fourth. Now you have Cole Rutherford. He's going to take a peek to the inside of the 18, but the 18 quickly closes the door. And we are still double file around halfway through the field. The Zero's trying to get through. You see that exhaust, that fire that comes off the exhaust is because he is lifting. And the more that these tires wear, the more these drivers are going to have to lift. And here comes the 9 of Parker Sullivan. He's going to move up to 5th. Jake Holloway still in second. Can he overtake the 16? Chase Wilder is about a few car lengths back from that 29. The 16 of Miguel Alvarez just taking control so far in the first few laps, as we're going 84 laps in this one. But right now, Alvarez is doing a great job of staying up in front of the 29 and that 2. These 3 have separated from the 4th place car to 18, almost a second. There's the 9 of Parker Sullivan. He is currently in 4th. Then you have Mitchell Granger in 5th. Caleb Foster in 6th. Oliver Bennett 7th. The 02 of Ryan Whitaker. We spoke about that 02. Currently in 8th. Then you have the 43 of Travis Boone. And that 0 of Cole Rutherford. There's Jake Holloway still in second. Chase Wilder in third. As we take a look Jackson Reed. He was last week's winner at Daytona. The rookie stole the show towards the end of the race. A lot of good cars were taken back, taken out, but he took advantage of that. Ooh, and that 7 almost made contact with the 119. But Jackson Reed currently in 23rd. We're going to see what he can do here today. As we go back and check on your leaders. Jake Holloway still in second. Miguel Alvarez still leads the way. Who's going to have the long run speed here today? So right now, we are caution free. Already 10 laps in here at Texas. And there goes Jake Holloway, takes a peek to the inside. Can he make it stick in the inside line? The 16 is fighting hard on the outside. They continue to battle as they cross the stripe. The 29 holding firm in that good wrench, and he takes the lead for the first time today. Chase Wilder in second. Parker Sullivan in third. Alvarez dropped down to fourth, lost 3 positions there in a blink of an eye. And now we have a battle for second. The 2 of Wilder, the 9 of Parker Sullivan. As they're side by side crossing the line. Not too far behind the 16 is Caleb Foster. Currently in 5th, all by himself. Now, can Jake Holloway pull away? Jake Holloway, part of Thunder Road Racing. Merrill McGuire, he is the team owner of this race. He showed some speed in Daytona. And they're showing some speed here today. Parker Sullivan, a close second. He is all over the 29, looking for an opportunity. Maybe if the 29 makes a mistake, tire wear is going to start coming into play here. And we're going to see cars start fading and some cars start to get stronger. So I think we're going to have a battle for the lead here in a second. Maybe another lap or two, because that 9 is just all over the 29. And there he goes. He's going to look to the inside as they go around turn 1. He dives down in, almost gets so close to that white line, and he takes the lead for the first time today. Now he has the clean air. What can he do? Can he pull away? We're still probably looking at another 15 laps or so before we get any green flag. Before we get any pit stops. And it looks like everyone's pretty spread out. So it looks like we're going to have some probably green flag pit stops here. What are the crew chiefs going to do here, though? Are they going to gamble? Are they just going to stay out as long as they can and then try to take advantage of tires later on? Let's do a rundown of your top 15. Parker Sullivan leads the way. Jake Holloway in second. Miguel Alvarez in third. Chase Wilder in 5th. Ryan Whitaker 6th. Caleb Foster is in 6th. Oliver Bennett in 7th as they continue to battle there. Cole Rutherford in 8th. Dustin Crowe, we mentioned that car last week a few times. He is currently in 9th, showing some speed in the top 10. Dalen Prescott Dalen Prescott as well in the top 10. And he had an unfortunate incident last week, got caught up in some wrecks. In 11th, Javier Rodriguez. In 12th, Kyle Ashford. He was pretty quick last week. Sophia Petrov currently in 13th. Mason Calloway in 14th. Part of Strack's pool. Evan Ethel, team owner of that car. And Scott Langford currently in 15th. And he had a good run in the top 5, I want to say, last week. As we check on Parker Sullivan, and he has pulled away 1.3 seconds over the 29 of Jake Holloway. Jake Holloway showed some early speed, but now we're about 20 laps in, and you can tell the difference here. He has started to fade. There's Miguel Alvarez, currently in 3rd. By about 3 seconds from the leader, so he has lost a lot of pace here. Chase Wilder, he was on the pole, down to 4th, almost 4 seconds back from the leader. And this is mainly where all the racing is, because Parker Sullivan is in full control. Almost 2-second lead over the 29. Oliver Bennett in 6th there in that 38. Who's going to come on to pit road first, as we're starting to get pretty close to our first green flag pit stops. And there goes the 0-2 to the inside of that 38. And he's going to take that spot. There's the 24 of Dalen Prescott, currently still in the top 10, and 19 of Javier Rodriguez on the outside. But 24 definitely looking to bounce back today. Scott Lanford up to 12th. He is definitely creeping up. As we look at Victor Sokolov, currently in 18th. Behind him is the 4. That 4 of Connor Whitfield, man, heartbreak, man. He could have won the race last week. A blown engine cost him the race with a few laps to go. As we go back to your leader. He is on cruise control. Once he got that clean air, he just pulled away. Look at that. 3 seconds, over 3 seconds already. Third place car is almost 5 seconds back. So he is on rails right now. David Leathers is the owner of this car, the 9 of Parker Sullivan. They're showing so much speed here today. But right now the question is who comes in first? Who's going to try to take advantage of the fresh tires? And that 9 is slowing down. And yes, he is going to be the first car to come onto pit road. As Jake Holloway stays out and everyone else stays out. It looks like the 18 came in. But the 9 of Parker Sullivan, he was the leader. He's decided, hey, let's put on some fresh tires. Let's be the first ones to put on, including the 18. They're going to put fresh tires too. And Parker Sullivan is going to put on 4 tires. And here comes everyone else. The 29, the 16, the 2, the 25. They're all going to take on 4 tires and fuel. Who's going to have a good stop here and take advantage on pit road? Maybe gain a few spots. Dustin Crowe, he is still out there. And here he comes. So they decide to come a little later. They're going to have like 1 or 2 laps more fresher tires than everyone else. And they're going to take on 4 tires and fuel. And the 4 of Connor Whitfield, he is still out on the track. And he's probably going to be the last car here on the track to come onto pit road. So they're going to long play here. They want to maximize their tires for later on. We'll see how all this plays out. As he's going to put on 4 tires. So after we reset here, everyone comes out of cycle through the field. Parker Sullivan should be the leader, unless he had a really bad stop. And it looks like he's going to be the leader once we cycle through. Right now we're showing Whitfield, but Whitfield just came out of pit road. We'll see where the 9, did the 9 gain a few more seconds on a second place car. Right now it's showing 5 seconds, so he did gain some ground on the 29 of Jack Holloway. Now that we've gone through this first round of pit stops, let's go through your top 15 again and see where did everyone land here. There's Jake Holloway in second, 5 seconds back. Not a fast stop for the 29, but he is still in second place. Miguel Alvarez in third. Dustin Crowe with a good stop, finish in 4th. I mean, not finished, but he's up to 4th. Caleb Foster in 5th. Look at Langford up to 6th. He must have gained like 6 or 7 spots on that pit stop. Ryan Whitaker in 7th. Kyle Ashford in 8th. Sophia Petrov having a good run in the top 10. And that Valvoline car currently in 9th. Part of Nova Surge Racing. Lotus Lee is the owner. There's a 24 of Dalen Prescott. Part of DOG. Odion Muldoon is the owner of that car and a 48. Ryan Lockwood, good stop up to 11th. There's the 83 of Mason Callaway, currently in 12th. He made a move there, but the 27 quickly closed the door. In 13th, Oliver Bennett lost a ton of positions. The same for Chase Wilder in 14th, trying to gain a spot back. And it's Mitchell Granger currently in 15th. And behind him is Luke Maddox from Low Fuel Racing, E-Weezy, the owner there. And you have Brandon Pike in 17th. Javier Rodriguez in 18th, lost a ton of spots. Aisha in the 99, 19th. Jackson Reed, last week's winner, rounds out your top 20. As we check on your leader, all by himself. 5-second lead. Right now, we're almost at the halfway point, and he has a rocket ship. He is just in control of this race. As Jake Holloway gained a few tenths there, we'll see if he can close in, because that 29 has shown some speed. And look at that 77 to Dustin Crowe up to third. He is on the move for sure. If we continue green, I'm thinking probably around lap 60 or so, we're going to have our next round of pit stops. And will some crew chiefs take more gambles? You know, if you're towards the end of the pack, you're going to have to take some gambles. Maybe you come in sooner, try to short pit. Scott Lanford in the top 5 as Miguel Alvarez is fading a little. This happened to Alvarez in the start of the race. He started to fade. The 0-2 of Whitaker is going to get by. He's up to 6. We talked about that 0-2 before the race. He was going to be a car to keep an eye out for. We're going to go back to a little deeper into the field. There's Hannah Kim. She was your runner-up at Daytona, currently in 25th. This track is not her strong suit, but she has a little bit of speed. You got Victor currently in 24th. Mia Chang in 23rd. That car was on its roof at Daytona. Currently in 24th as the 48 goes right on by. Parker Sullivan still in the lead. About 4.5 seconds over the 77 of Dustin Crowe. Dustin Crowe has taken over second position from Jake Holloway, and Jake Holloway has dropped down to 4th. Maybe those adjustments during the pit stop did not help that car, because he seems a little slower in this second stint here than he looked like in the first part of the race. He was holding it down in the top 3. Because Lanford went right on by, as well as Dustin Crowe. And Alvarez is still holding on to to 5th. Ryan Whitaker in 6th. Ashford 7th. Caleb Foster in 8th. And Ryan Lockwood in 9th. He took a little bit of a gamble. Not a gamble, but a different strategy during that first round of pit stops. And here he is up in 9th. Mason Callaway, in the 10th. Behind him is Sophia and Dalen. And now it's a 4-second lead for your leader. As we have a battle here still for 10. Sophia trying to get into the top 10. As we'll see these battles here. Callaway in the outside. Prescott in the inside. A battle for 11th. As we're starting to get closer to the second round of pit stops, which is our last round. And there goes the 83 once again. He's going to try to make a move on that 10. Everyone doesn't have that grip like they did. It's going to be a lot harder to make the passes. There's the 18 of Mitchell Granger, currently in 16. Connor Whitfield in 18th. Logan Mercer in 19 in the top 20. Jackson Reed there in 20th. So all these drivers trying to battle here. It's a little harder, a lot of dirty air here. The car doesn't handle as well when it's in that dirty air. And that outside line is just not as fast as that inside lane. And Jackson Reed up to 18th. So a decent run so far today for the 119. He just wants to have a decent points day because it's not win or get in anymore. You have to finish in the top 16. If you finish in the top 16, you will make the playoffs. So it's all about consistency now. Before you get in and you're like, okay, I could just cruise control until I get into the playoffs, but you cannot do that anymore. You have to be consistent every week. And some drivers are just going to be faster at certain tracks than others. As you see the case here today, Parker Sullivan out front by 3.6 seconds over Langford. That's moved up to second. Langford in the top 5 last week, in the top 5 this week, as long as he doesn't have any issues with the car or a bad pit stop. He should finish in the top 5. As we are starting to get pretty close to pit stops. Dustin Crowe, solid run here today. The same for Ryan Whitaker and Miguel Alvarez. After he just had some bad luck at Daytona, here he is sitting in the top 5, showing what he can do. Kyle Ashford as well. Jake Holloway's there. All these cars in the top 10. And Parker Sullivan is losing some ground to the second place car, Langford. Under 3 seconds now. So I don't think he's going to stay out much longer. There's no way he's losing. He almost lost half a second there. It's better to stick to the script and don't gamble. Just stay consistent with the pit calls. And here he comes. The 9 on pit road. We'll see. Does he put on 4 tires or does he just take 2 tires? At this track, you got to take 4. This is not Daytona where you could just top it off or just take 2 tires. I think you need all the grip you can get here. The 18 follows suit just like the first round. And he is going to take 4 tires. And the 7, he's still out there for another lap. Didn't come in this time around. So they're going to try to extend this at least a lap or 2. We'll see for how long. And will the 77 follow suit? And here he comes. And the 77 of Dustin Crowe looks like he's going to stay out. And he is. He was just being careful not to hit the 7. The 02, Ryan Whitaker comes in. Jake Holloway comes in. So they try to extend it as far as they could. And they're probably going to put on 4 tires here. Everyone, there's Jackson Reed behind him. Everyone putting 4 tires. Does Dustin Crowe come on in? And here he comes. And the 27 of Lockwood, he stays out. So he's really taking a risk. He's going to stay out on worn tires as long as he can. Ashford is there putting 4 tires. Everyone putting those 4 tires. But that 27 of Ryan Lockwood decided to stay out for another lap. And the exhaust, you can see the fire coming out the pipes as he slows down. And he comes on to pit road to put on a fresh set and top off on fuel. Will this gamble pay off for the 27? He's going to have the freshest tires in the field, including Doug Britton. He just came in as well. And there's the 9. He's behind the 17. 17 of Paige Thornton. She qualified well, I want to say. And here she is, dead last and 40th. Everyone's still on the lead lap, too, which is crazy. We haven't had no cautions, all green flag. So Parker Sullivan is going to try to put the 17 a lap down. As we got about 20 laps to go. Sullivan is going to put that 9 a lap down. As we're still waiting for the scoreboard to reset itself. Once we cross the line here, we'll make a rundown of the top 20. And Parker Sullivan just been so fast today. No real competition for the 9. Once he took the lead and got into that clean air, it was a wrap. No looking back. All he has to do is stay consistent, not make a mistake. And just be careful when he's going to lap someone. But let's do a rundown of your top 20 after the second round of pit stops. Parker Sullivan, your leader. Scott Lanford in second. Dustin Crowe in third. Caleb Foster in fifth. Ryan Whitaker having a solid day in fifth. Gunny is the owner of that 02. As they're going to battle there for position. In 6th, Kyle Ashford. In 7th, Jake Holloway. He faded a little, but he's hanging on in the top 10. Still solid run so far. The same for Miguel Alvarez, currently in 8th. There's Ryan Lockwood in 9th, having a solid run as well. Remember, that car has a few more laps on his tires, so we'll see what he can do with that towards the end of this race. Can he gain some ground? Mason Callaway in 11th. And there's Jackson Reed. He was in the 20s to start this race. And here he is in 11th, trying to crack the top 10, having a solid run. Luke Maddox in 12th. Sophia Petrov lost a few spots and now pit stop down to 13. Mitchell Granger in 14th. And Dalen Prescott lost a few spots down to 15th. Oliver Bennett was in the top 10 earlier, down to 16th, the same as Chase Wilder. He was on the pole, just lost speed throughout the race. Down to 17th. Logan Mercer in 18th. Connor Whitfield in 20th. So maybe Logan Mercer is 19th. Then you have Aisha there. Shown in 21st. Javier Rodriguez, not the showing he wanted today, in 22nd. And you have Priya Desea. Sebastian is the owner of that car. Prime Racing Incorporated is the team. As we check on your leader, currently a 4-second lead over the 7. He is just racing all by himself. As we have 11 laps to go in this one. Can the 7 gain any ground on the 9? It would help if you had a little drafting partner. That would definitely help. Ryan Whitaker up to 3rd. You got Caleb Foster there in 4th. Dustin Crowe in 5th. Ryan Lockwood is the car to look out for, because he has a few laps more on his tires than everyone else. What can he do? We have a battle here for the top 10, as Jackson Reed is going to get by the 29. That 29 is so loose coming out turn 4. So he is starting to struggle. It's as if the car just got worse as the race went, because he started off pretty good. But you could definitely tell he's struggling, because he's letting off way, way earlier than everyone else. He's trying to just hold on to the car. So that car is extremely loose. We'll see where he ends up. Ryan Lockwood still in seventh. Parker Sullivan still leads the way, 3 seconds. The 7 has gained a little ground, a few tenths of a second. But he needs to gain way more than that with only a few laps to go. It's all been green flag racing here today. Parker Sullivan definitely doesn't want to see a caution right now. A caution probably would end the race and he would still be the winner. So maybe he would want to see the caution right now. We have 39 cars on the lead lap. Very clean race here today. It wasn't that way last week. That's the 10 of Sophia. She gets into the top 10. Holloway in 11th. Jackson Reed in 9th. Mason Calloway in 8th. Brian Lockwood in 7th. And then we have a battle here. Ooh, this 15 almost touches the 77. Everyone's starting to get loose as the tires are starting to wear here some. As we got 3 laps to go. And now the lead is under 3 seconds. Scott Lanford trying to do everything he can to close the gap on the 9. But time pretty much has run out. Yes, we have 2 laps to go. Can't say enough about the 9 today. They brought the speed to the track. And this is very promising for the David Leathers team. The white flag waves last lap. She's going to go onto the backstretch here. Still 2.5 second lead. Lanford just didn't have enough for the 9. As the 9 rounds out the final turn. And Parker Sullivan wins at Texas Motor Speedway. He was just on rails. Once he took the lead, it was lights out. The team executed on pit stops. They did what they had to, kept that 9 up front, and that lead never went under 2 seconds. That's how fast the 9 was. So congrats to David Leathers and the 9 of Parker Sullivan. And we're going to run down the field here. And we didn't have, as well, we also didn't have no mechanical failures. So, I mean, it was a very clean race. Sometimes you get races like this, and sometimes it's chaos. But today was a good race. It just, it was one of those races that just showed who had that speed today, who was consistent, who had the long green flag runs, and who had a strong pit crew chief that made, decisions that worked well for his team. But let's do a rundown here of the results of this race. Parker Sullivan, your winner. The 7 of Langford in the second. The 25 of Caleb, strong run, finishes third. The 02 of Ryan Whitaker in fourth. 77 of Dustin in fifth. The 15 of Ashford in sixth. The 27, Ryan Lockwood took a gamble. Excuse me. Took a gamble there late. Didn't gain no positions though, but in the second, it was actually the second pit stop that he took a gamble and he gained a ton of spots. They just had either a great pit stop or he did stay out a little longer, which helped him. He moved to seventh, finishes seventh. 83 of Mason in eighth. The 119 of Jackson Reed finishes ninth. That was last week's winner. The 10 of Sophia, she finished in the top 10. Solid run for her today. The 24 of Prescott in 11th. The 29 of Jake Holloway in 12th. Not sure with this car. Like, this car started very strong. And not sure what happened between that first pit stop. But after that, it seemed like he was just really struggling to just have the handle of that car, the control of that car. But he still finished 12th. Decent run. The 23rd of Maddox in 13th. The 32 of Mercer in 14th. The 16 of Alvarez wasn't a top 10 most of the day. It's kind of faded as well. Finishes 15. Connor Whitfield in 16. The 38 of Bennett in 17. The 2 of Wilder on the pole. Just couldn't put it together today. Now in 18th. The 19th finished 19th. The 18 finishes in the 20th. That's Mitchell Granger. The 99, Aisha in 21st. The 20th finished 22nd. The 11, I think that's Pike, finishes 23rd. Hannah Kim, not a great run today. That was Daytona's runner-up. Finished 24th. The 88 of Thornton, solid run last week, this week. Not so great in 25th. No, that's not Mia Chang. This is the 190, finishes 26. The 48 of Victor in 27. The 115 in 28th. The 5 in 29th. The 31 in 30th. The 43 and I think that's Travis Boone from Lost City and finished 31st. The 0 in 32nd. The 30 finished 33rd. The 1 finished 34th. The 170 of Mia Chang in 35th. The 6 finished 36th. The 8 finished 37th. The 01 of Doug Britton 38th. The 30 and the 12, I think that's Arturo, finished 39th. And the 17 of Page rounds out the field in 40th. So all in all, a good race here today. And we head to Darlington, I want to say here. Yes, we head to Darlington. This is a little under a mile and a half. But then we head to Bristol and Richmond. Two short tracks. So a lot of these drivers that you see in these first two races that had some speed, if these drivers are not good at short tracks, they're not going to have good days. So, I mean, they might have decent days. They might have a good day depending if cautions or whatnot. But it's going to be hard to win unless the owners did the right thing and just gave that car the right setup to compete. But some drivers are just at another level when it comes to certain tracks. Some drivers are a little balanced, but it also depends on the team of how they set the car up. There's different ways to set the car up, so if you didn't set it right, you're going to see some things happen on the track, and you're going to start noticing some things like, man, maybe this setup isn't right for this driver. So you really have to find what works for that driver. Plus, the pit stops, crew chiefs play a big role. As you saw, the 27, he gained a ton of spots, as well as the 77. He gained a ton of spots as well. So if you have a great pit crew, you can take advantage of that as well. It has to be a combination. You got to find that good combination that's going to work for your team. And this is our first season. It's going to be not that easy. Um, that's why it's important. I feel like this league, you really have to pay attention. You just can't look at the results week to week. You really have to see how your driver, how he handles the race and how your crew chief behaves throughout the race, and see if that combination is working throughout the season on what tracks, what they do. But yeah, so it's very different. Well, what we're used to. But it's been some good racing, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. And I'm actually looking forward to these next three races. You got Darlington, which is a very hard track, and then two short tracks, and then we have a road course. We don't see any speedways to like race 8. So right now, I think between race 3 and 7, that's the meat of the schedule. That's the heart of the schedule. That's the tough stretch. That's an extremely tough stretch there. So your driver's gonna have to perform well in that stretch to try to get into the top 16. Um, Daytona is definitely a wild card. Almost anyone can win there. Um, Texas, you saw today, some cars just handled tire wear very well. Um, it's gonna be the same as Darlington. Darlington eats up tires. So yeah, we're gonna see how everything plays out moving forward. But like always, thank you for supporting the stream in the league. I will see you guys next time.